Last year, Disney made the announcement at the D23 Ultimate Disney Fan Event of an all-new Monsters Inc. themed land coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. It was said at the event that the all-new land would be home to a wide variety of new experiences, including the first suspended coaster in any Disney park, themed to the Door Factory chase scene from the first movie. Although there was a lot of excitement in the air for this new project, fans were still split on where this new project would be located in the park, whether being in Muppet's Courtyard or an animation courtyard. Nobody could really decide on where this new Monsters Inc. land would be located in the park, until in November of 2024, Disney announced that the Monsters Inc. land would replace the Muppets section of Grand Avenue. Now, with Muppet Vision 3D, Pizzerizzo, and Mama Melrose Restaurant officially being closed, construction has now begun on this new Monsters Inc. themed land. Today, with construction now beginning on this new land, there's a lot of information that we know about this project and still a lot of information that we yet don't know about it. So today, I'm going to tell you everything that we know about this new Monsters Inc. themed land, including a couple of educated guesses here and there on Theme Park Passion. So, let's get this party started. Along with new themed construction walls surrounding the construction area for this new land, Disney gave us a new piece of concept art for the Monsters Inc. themed land. This piece of concept art is a modified version of the November 2024 concept art revealed to the public when Disney announced where the location of the land would be. The image is only available on the construction walls and has not been released digitally yet, so we're going to be using a really high quality image that WDW Magic took from the construction walls. For reference, here's how the image looks on the actual wall. We can see that this Monsters Inc. land is going to largely be a re-theme of the Muppets areas of Grand Avenue, with a lot of the same infrastructure and design still being the same, but with a new Monsters Inc. themed twist. And yes, it even looks like the Miss Piggy fountain will live on. Of course, without Miss Piggy. So today, I really want to go in and deeply analyze this concept art to figure out as much information as we can possibly get on this new project, because the concept art actually gives us a lot of new information. So let's start at the entrance of Monsters Inc. land. Starting off with the entrance for Monsters Inc. land, I actually really like what they did here. It seems a lot like how Monsters University's entrance is, with the two statues on either side of you standing on the two pillars. And I also like the emblem on the ground, which seems to be an M, which is probably going to be the logo for the land if I had to guess. Now I want to zoom out and start to head towards the theater that formerly housed Muppet Vision 3D, as it's now called the Glob Theater. As you can see, the structure of the theater is going to be remaining the same, but it's going to have a little bit more elaborate theming on the exterior. I really love the new clock tower design that they're going with here. I think it's just so funny. I really like it. So right now we don't really have any details for what's going to be replacing Muppet Vision 3D. What we do know is that it's going to be a new indoor theater attraction. Now that's pretty broad, so we really don't know what it's going to be, but my personal hope and wish is that we get a put that thing back where it came from or so help me live on stage. That's never going to happen, but I would be so excited if that does happen. If I did have to guess though, I would say that it's probably going to be some new comedy show replacing Muppet Vision 3D. I would love if Disney again utilizes physicality and projected media in a really cool combination like what they did with Muppet Vision 3D. But I think this is going to be a really fun Monsters Inc. themed show. I bet that we find out more details about this show and the rest of the land itself at Destination D23 in August. Quickly maneuvering over to where Gonzo's Royal Flush was located, which served as the restrooms in Muppet's Courtyard, the exterior of this building appears to be relatively the same, but with some new theming on top of it. If I had to guess, I would say this will most likely again be the restrooms in Monsters Inc. land, as there's no point in relocating the restrooms if you have some perfectly working restrooms already right there. Zooming out into what I'm going to call the town square area of Monsters Inc. land, we can see the biggest notable change to where Muppet's Courtyard used to be, which is the removal of the Soundstage 1 Company store. I feel that removing the Stage 1 Company store is the right decision to make, as it's going to free up a lot of the guest pathway area and make the land more comfortable and welcoming to walk through. If I had to guess, I would assume that retail in the land would be located in the buildings to the left of Harryhausen's, as you're going to need some retail locations in this land if you're going to be demolishing the main retail location in Muppet's Courtyard. And looking at Harryhausen's, I'd assume that we're going to have Harryhausen's as a restaurant in the land. I don't see why Disney wouldn't do that, and also it appears here in the concept art, you can see people walking into it and out of it, and it appears to be a fully realized building. Going down a little bit, we have where the former fan favorite Pizzerizzo was located in Muppet's Courtyard. You can see that the infrastructure of the building appears to be remaining identical to what used to be there, but as far as the interior goes, we're not 100% sure. It could be transformed into retail, a character meet and greet location, or still just be a quick service restaurant. At this time, we don't know. If I had to guess, I would say maybe they'll turn it into a new quick service restaurant, maybe keeping that pizza theme, or trying out something new. For those that haven't watched Monsters Inc., Harryhausen's is a sushi restaurant in the movie, so I think that having a second dining location in the land would really help out with some of those picky eaters and younger guests in the land. Now, I want to head over to the Laugh Factory, where the new Monsters Inc. Door roller coaster is going to be located. Serving as the main icon for all of Monsters Inc. land, I believe that the Laugh Factory is going to be one of the best facades that Disney's ever done for any attraction. This legitimately looks like it was taken straight out of the animated movie and put right into real life. Zooming in to the ride building, we can see where the main entrance is most likely going to be, where the sign says, "It's laughter we're after," instead of "We scare because we care." One difference of note from this concept art is Mike and Sully, who appear to be meeting guests right outside of the ride entrance. Although I think it would be really cool if they meet right outside of the ride entrance, I don't think that would actually end up happening in the land because it could cause some crowd congestion issues. So I think that they may just construct an indoor meet and greet area instead for these characters, because they're for sure going to be really popular to meet. Looking over at the left of the main entrance, we can see what kind of appears to be an extended overflow queue for the attraction. I know it's really hard to make out, but you can kind of see some gray shadows in this little overhang area, so my guess is that that could be an overflow queue. Now, this is all concept art, so that may not actually play out, but I could definitely see that being a reality. In addition, if you look behind Mike and Sully, you can actually see what I believe is going to be the main ride marquee for the door coaster. Something important of note is that going to the left of the main ride entrance, you can see what appears to be a play area for younger guests. This is a really nice idea as it's going to give those younger guests something to do while their older family members are on board the door coaster. Hollywood Studios doesn't currently have a play area, so having one of these things is going to be really nice for this park, as it's going to really help fill in that gap of no play area. And also, having this playground be shaded is such a great idea for the hot Florida sun. That's something that's going to be really necessary during those summer months. But now, talking about the actual ride itself, we really don't have that much to really go off of, besides a 3D model of the ride both physically and digitally. So this is the digital model of the load station of the coaster, which is the only aspect that Disney released of the digital 3D model. Now, you can see that this is actually going to be a quadruple loading station, which is going to be crazy for capacity, and you can get a good look at the lift mechanism, which is going to lift riders from the load area to where the coaster actually starts, which is a really cool, innovative idea that is pretty rare for a coaster. Really excited for this to happen in the real park. In addition, something that I would like to point out that no one's really talked about is that it appears that the vehicles rotate from facing sideways in load to going to forward facing when it reaches the top of the lift, which makes me think that this may use the Omnicoaster ride system, which if you don't know is the ride system utilized on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which allows for Imagineering to control the rotation of a ride vehicle. I really do hope that Disney uses the Omnicoaster for this ride because it would make it way more fun. Now here is the physical 3D model that Disney made for the attraction that was showcased at D23 back in 2024. Now, as you can see, it shows a concept of the track layout for this coaster. But here is the biggest part of this video. So if you know me, you know that this channel started with me recreating rides in Minecraft and then basically showcasing them on this channel. Well, I spent about an hour recreating the track layout of this coaster in Minecraft, and I want to show that to you guys right now. Now, I didn't theme it or anything because there wasn't really a need to, because I wanted to do this more to show you guys the actual track layout according to this model. So, also, I never got to see the model in person, so I was relying only on photos taken of it, so there may be a couple of little elements that I missed here and there. I definitely missed the scale of it because I never got to see it, so there may be some slight differences between the physical model and my Minecraft version of it, but I feel like that I captured the vast majority of this track layout pretty well, so I want to show you that to you guys right now. Again, if Disney did change the track layout later on in development for the coaster, obviously this won't be up to date then. But this is what Disney showed us at that physical model, but just so that you guys can actually see what it may look like to actually ride it. So this Minecraft recreation starts right after the lift sequence ends, where you end up going into the main coaster section. Now, I don't know if this part of the coaster is going to be fast or not. I just kind of assumed that, oh, it might be like a show scene at the beginning, but maybe it's going to go straight into a launch or something after it starts. I don't know, this is all a complete guess by me, but the track layout is as accurate as I could make it based off of the model that Disney showed us. Let's just go a little faster here, because we don't got all day. I know that you want to see the ride. Alright, after speeding through what I made as a dark ride section, here is the main coaster section of this attraction. Again, I'm not exactly sure exactly how accurate it is to the current plan, but from that model, this is what we had. And you know what? Since the actual Monsters Inc. coaster is going to be a suspended coaster, let's make this a suspended coaster using a resource pack. One thing that I'm hopeful of is that they time out the trains dispatching so that there could maybe be some near-miss elements on the ride, so that it really seems more chaotic. I did make a guess and assume that this really long straight section of track would probably be a brake run, but maybe it's an 80-mile-per-hour launch. We have no idea. This is the part of the coaster here that actually jets out of the main gravity building and heads into its own little secluded show scene, which I think is going to be really cool. Again, we have another pretty long straight section, so I was like, let's just make this a brake run. We don't really know what it's going to be. And now we have the last couple of dives of the coaster as we head through one last little turn before returning to the unload station. I would like to remind you all again that this is based off of the concept model that Disney gave us last year, and so this is the only information available to the public, and I just kind of tried to 3D model it a little bit in Minecraft. But plans may have changed behind the scenes and we won't know about it until the ride opens. So things might change, this may not be up to date, but this was how it was last year. I think that Disney giving us that model was a really nice idea because it let us get a little preview for what the ride's going to be like. If they never gave us that model, then we could have never had a virtual ride through there in Minecraft of the Monsters Inc. coaster, so I'm for one pretty happy they gave us that model. One of the biggest questions everybody, including myself, has about this project is when it's actually going to open. My guess would be sometime around 2028. A good 3 years of construction could be enough time for Disney to complete this project, because although the majority of the land is going to be a re-theme of the former Muppets Courtyard, you have to remember that the coaster is going to be a fully newly built show building. So that is what's going to take the most amount of time and effort in this entire project. I also think it could all time out nicely with the Tropical Americas opening up in 2027 and this opening up in 2028. Maybe we'll see Cars open in Frontierland in 2029 and Villains Land open in 2030. These are all guesses by me, but I think it all makes a little bit of sense. I don't think they would want to make this open in 2027 along with the Tropical Americas. It would be smarter if Disney spreads out the grand openings for these lands to give them more to advertise every single year. That's just my opinion though, and I may be dead wrong on this, but my opinion is that it will probably open sometime around 2028. With that though, I would love to hear if you're excited about Monsters Inc. Land. For me, I'm pretty sad that we lost Muppet Vision 3D, but I'm really excited for this new land. Monsters Inc. is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I'm really excited for the future of Hollywood studios. And of course, we're still going to have the Muppets in this park, although in a different way, we'll still have these incredible characters with us in Hollywood Studios. Now, thank you all so much for watching this video. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content just like this. And I'll see you all real soon. Wait, what are you still doing in the video? Well, I guess I'll give you a teaser for the next video I'm working on. If you listen to all of that, please let me know down in the comment section below with the secret code word Mike Wazowski, and you will get a shout out in the next video. You deserve it.